Hello friends and followers. Well, it's time to rewind the 80 meter antenna coil for the National NC 300 receiver. This coil was most likely burned out by somebody transmitting RF into it. You can see how the secondary winding, which is 3 turns, is a little smoke looking. Doesn't look the worst, but of interest is this wire here, which is the primary, and it has a nice white cloth coating or something. It's quite nice. Looks like a little bit of shorting out was happening there toward the middle here. It's kind of singed there and probably caused some short through the ferrite. And then once we get down to this part of it, it looks pretty singed indeed. So the whole trick here then is to replace this wire. This stuff is pretty darn thin. So I talked to my friend Pete Giuliano, who is the guru of homebrew, and he said to use some 30 to 32 wire gauge. This one I think is 30 gauge. And this is the highest quality communist China wire I've ever seen. It will go up to 155C or 180 degrees Celsius, I think. Okay, it's rated at 155C, so this stuff should do the trick. It's 30 AWG. So let's compare the sizes visually and see how they look. I'm not so sure it'll make that much difference if it's off a bit, but I'm not a coil expert. I'm just going to wind this thing by rote, R-U-T-E, by copying what's there. So anyway, here's the 2 wires. Yeah, they look pretty similar as far as thickness. Very similar indeed. All right, so how I'm going to approach this is, I guess I'll measure it for the record, but I really don't have to measure it. I could just spool it off side by side and do it that way. So first thing I'll do is measure the secondary. And this is a secondary. There were 3 turns of the secondary around the ferrite cylinder. All right, I think I'm still in view. Yes, I am. Okay. So, measure this. And it attaches right to the base of that ferrite. So, if we go there, it's exactly 4 inches. That seems pretty, pretty precise, doesn't it? Okay, so we're going to say secondary is going to be 4 inches. That's it. How do you like that? So the primary then, as I measured it off, unwinding it had, and I wrote that down somewhere here. Okay, the primary had 14 and 36 turns. But I don't care about those yet. All I care about is measuring it. So I will measure it from the 14 turns end to the tap. And we'll see how that goes. This stuff is okay, so fine to measure. So let's measure it now. This is the 14 turn segment. So this will be a long, boring video, but it will show the casual restoration engineer what to do. I've never wound a coil in my life, so kind of fun for me, huh? All right, so yuck. I guess I gotta somehow get this thing to scroll out by putting it over the table like that. And get back on cam here. There I am. So I'm going to start off here at 1 inch and measure down to the center tap. Use my finger. Whoa. Use my finger. Whoa. This is a disaster, people. Disaster. Okay, so use my finger to hold this thing at the end. Pull it down. I'm gonna make this right though, right? Round cam, yeah. All right, pull it down. Okay, coming down. Looks like it's exactly 12.5 inches to the. It's 12.5 inches to the center tap. So we're gonna say the 14 turn 1/4T equals, and we're gonna say 12.5 inches. That's it. The 14 turn is 12.5. Let's measure it again. Make sure we didn't screw it up. I'm not sure that 1/2 inch will make a difference and how this thing works, but it probably would. Let's see. Okay, yeah, well, yeah. Looks to be about 12.5. That's close enough. All right, now we're going to measure from the center tap to the other end. And this is the 36 turn length. So this is 14 times 2, 28. This is almost twice as long, so a little more than twice as long. So here we go. There's the center tap there. And yuck. That's off camera, I'm sorry about that, but hey. That's coming in at 30 inches. Look at that. 30 inches it is. So the 16 turn equals 30 inches from the center tap. Okay, so if we add this together, 12.5 and 30, that's 42.5 inches for the whole thing. I guess I could measure it directly and see how that works. 42.5. So that's how long our wire will be, plus a little bit for the center tap itself. So about 42.5 inches, I'm thinking. Let's measure it up. Okay, starting whole length of the wire. Let's go to, okay, 13, 14, 15, 16, 20. I'm going to stop at 2 feet and keep on going. Get it untangled from this needle nose. There's always like trouble, you know, with extraneous things. I wonder why things get tangled. These do. I mean, things that don't belong together just love to get tangled. Okay. 2 feet. Let's go to the end. Damn it. Nope. Just get hooked. And I got screwed. So I gotta start over. All right. So I measured it to 2 feet. There's too much stuff laying around here. Like the mouse. Get rid of the mouse, get rid of this box, get rid of these screws. Okay, here's a wire hanging around I don't want. Headphones. Okay, good, we're clear. Let's measure it again, Sam. Here's the end. I'm going to put this back over the edge. All right, I'm going to measure it up to 2 feet, and I know I'm off cam. Okay, back on the cam. Pretty boring, I know, but this is what you do. Okay, there's center tap. Center tap's coming in around 12.5. The wire's getting tangled. Okay, so if I go all the way to the end, I'm right at 32 inches here. Let's pull it tight. There's 32 inches. Let's lock the wire down. Okay, now we're at 32. Pull this whole mess out. Don't you fly up on me. Okay, 32. Coming in at like 43 at the very end. There's the 43 right there at the very end. Okay, so 43 looks like a round number, like that's what they did. So the whole length, we're to say the primary length, equals 43 inches. Does it make sense that 30 and 12.5, so 30, 42.5? Yeah, that agrees. So we're good. Secondary 4 inches. Okay, so then I should be able to make a 43 inch of this new wire, and then I'm going to want to have a little bit for the center tap. So let's proceed that way. The center tap is a little tiny thing. Okay, well, there's the center tap there. And it's like, I don't know, 1/4 inch. Okay. Let's do it. Let's take the old wire out of the way here, because it will get tangled up. Put this aside. New wire, let's unkink it. Kind of a pretty looking wire, isn't it? With the red lacquer or whatever they put on this stuff. This is probably a very advanced wire considering what we had from 1955. And now we're in the year 2024, and this wire is from the great country of China, which is a real industrial powerhouse now, even compared to the good old, and I do say old, USA. Okay, so we need to measure this thing to 43 inches and maybe 43.5. Let's say 43.5. That's about right. And there we go. Don't let it fly up on me. Okay. There we go, 43.5. Be nice if I could lock this thing down somehow. I guess I could tape it, but I'm not gonna bother. Okay, right at the end there, just use my hands to lock it and feed it. Feed it, feed it, feed it, feed it, like Michael Jackson. Feed it, feed it. Oh, screwed up. Screwed up again. You don't want to let it slip out of your fingers. Okay, we're going for 43 inches. 43.5. There's 20 mark right there. Going for 43. There's 43 right there. 43.5. That's what we're gonna do. And now we're gonna cut it. Oh, damn it! Start over. When you're not using a yardstick and using a stupid tape measure, you know what I mean? It's like I could be smarter about this, right? Okay, 43 inches for the third effing time. .43 inches. Okay, 43.5. How do I make it not slip now? Put my finger on it and put my finger on it and cut the damn thing. Sorry I'm off cam, but maybe I'm not. Okay, bam, I cut it. There. Now we have the wire all set. So the length is now right. So what I would want to do now is solder this now onto the ferrite core and start twisting it around, wrapping it nice and neat. So here's the ferrite core, and now I want to start removing all this old wire. I just want to make sure I understand this thing. Yeah, it all goes to that one end. So the end with the stripe, it doesn't matter what end it is. Well, it might. Okay, so I can just cut these off. I can unsolder more. Actually, I should do. Unsolder those, and then we'll put the new wire on and try and solder it on there. Well, that's for later. We'll just, right now we're just clearing all this residual wire off of this ferrite core. So let's do that. And probably want to save these too as a reference. Not forever, but just until this coil is wound. I wouldn't mind saving these in case I screwed something up. So let's unsolder these. I guess I could clip them, but I'm just going to try and unsolder them first. See if they'll just float right off of here. With a little bit of tension. Soldering iron's still cold. There it goes. These welders will click when they're ready to go because they're compensating and they're regulating. Come on. That's not going to come off. Okay, well, you know what? It's not that important. And I could damage the ferrite maybe too, heating it up too much. So let's just cut them off. Okay, our two reference wires are cut off, the secondary and primary, and I'm just going to put these somewhere where they won't be disturbed. On top of the transmitter, that's where they are. Okay, now we are ready to start with the new wire. So the first thing I want to do is simply solder this wire onto here. And from what I understood from reading the description of this new wire, and you can see where the old wire is soldered there. This stuff supposedly is solderable after a bit, so I'm just gonna wrap it around, and I should have made it a bit longer. Just gonna wrap it around here and see if I can solder it. See if it'll take. Okay. There's a loop. Yep, there we go. It's wrapped around. Let's get something else in here to push it. All right, where'd that song go? Push it good, right? Okay, that was from the 90s, early 90s. Now we're gonna try and solder this thing. See if the wire will, if the coating will melt and it'll simply solder on. I was supposed to do that, so let's see what it does. There's some solder. And then the question is, how do we know when we're at the point where we have the solder tap? Okay, does it solder? You would think that stuff would melt, right? And it would solder on. Well, yeah, it works. So the wire works as advertised. The solder melted through the coating and ouch, there it is. hot. Okay, so now I can see where it started there. I want to wrap some turns. I want to wrap 14 turns around here. So let's try that. Turn off the soldering iron and we'll start wrapping. Not that kind of wrap. Okay, one. Man, this is not easy for me. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's neat. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, and then we want to have a little divot thing here for the connection to the switch. That will serve as the center tap right there. And we're on turn 14. Okay, I'll reset my turns now, and there we go. Now 36 turns from the center tap. So there's our center tap there. And which way was I going? I was going around this way. Man, oh man, this is janky. Okay. And now I want to go, actually it doesn't matter, I just want to put all this wire on here. It doesn't matter on turns anymore, because the length is the length, right? So 36 turns is what we should have. So we'll count and see how it works out. So there's 1 turn, 2 turns, and I want to kind of get it in there with my fingernail. 2 turn, whoa. Wow, this is shaky stuff. It's not very stable. Okay, it's 2 turns. Guess I should make it tighter, right? 3 turns. 4, 5, 6, yeah. Can I just move it down? Now it's too tight. What if I let up and slacken a little bit? There it goes. There's an art to this. There it goes. Look at that. Cool. Okay, that's 6 turns. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. How many are there? 36 turns? My God. 14. It's a lot. $14. Is that right? $15, $16, $17, $18, $19, 20. And I got this gap in here, so like that's not gonna work. Okay, well that's good. 20, 21, 22, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Seems like I'm running out of space here. Come on. There it goes. 26. Man, oh man. That's good. 27. 28. 29. 30. It doesn't matter. Just keep winding, man, until it's done. Oh man, it's not quite right. 31. You don't want these like over each other. Lost count. Doesn't matter. Just get the windings on here because I got the length. 33. 34. 35, 36 maybe. Well, it's awful close. Okay, so what bad things have I done here? Well, I've run it off the one side. Maybe ruined it. Can I restore the integrity of the other side? And what will the ferrite things do if I don't make this exact? I don't know. All right, well, that's close enough. I'm going to solder it onto the side to lock it, because that's where it went. It was grounded. And then I'll try and move over the other stuff to get it looking nice. And that'll be that. I'd probably put some nail polish in this crazy thing to get it squared away so it won't move around. But I think this is a reasonable rendition. All right, that wire is locked in, baby. So that's that. It's not national factory standards, but okay, then on this side, I want to get these back on here. Yeah, they're back on. Mostly. That's as good as I'm going to get it, I think. This is going to need some nail polish for sure. Looks like I kind of messed it up. The trick is you just can't bump this stuff, that's all. Okay, this needs to be moved down and moved up. It's still kind of loose. I think nail polish for sure to lock it in place. Well, anyway, it's on there. It's not linear, but it's on there. And I bet if these aren't all perfect, it's not going to resonate right. I probably got to get a small screwdriver and just kind of move these around. All right, I guess I'm going to stop this video because it's not teaching you much now. Or me. It's sort of done. So next steps for me are I'm going to get this true looking, maybe put some nail polish on it. And then I'm going to put some tape on there and wrap the secondary on. And the secondary has to get measured. It's 4 inches. And I'm looking for the measure thing. Secondary is 4 inches. That's it, 1 secondary. And so the secondary, I'll put a little bit of electrical tape around here, plastic tape around there, like one little loop. I'll wind the secondary 3 loops over the primary here where it was. And I'll put the coil back in the radio and see if it works. So that's my video on winding this 80 meter coil. There's the center tap, and I just got to get these things even and lock it down with nail polish, I think, and put the secondary on. And I think I'll just use nail polish as an insulator for the secondary. Okay, long video, but that's how I'm working on it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.